if anybody has any questions, I'd be more than happy to try to answer. Mr. Edwards, how was it working with Mr. Edwards? The actor who played Mr. Edwards was Victor French, and he had known Mike Landon for years and years. He played a lot of bad guys before. I think he had done Bonanza several times, I think, and was a terrific actor, very, very good actor. So what you saw on screen of him being fun-loving and kind of bumbling and sloppy, and he was nothing like that. He was everything was precise and planned and very carefully thought out. So he was a very good actor and a really, really nice man. Yes. Sydney and Lindsay Greenbush, I just saw Sydney, Robin, on the stage show. She was there, and yeah, they've grown up a lot, and they're doing very well. Well, yeah, a lot of kids, don't necessarily want to become actors or actresses when they grow up. They're doing it for other reasons when they're younger, or maybe they enjoyed it when they're younger and they just outgrow it. They don't want to do it anymore. But we all have. I'm the same as all of you. I have my, I'm a big fan of movies and television, and I have my favorite shows and my favorite actors and my favorite characters, and you kind of can't really imagine what their real lives are because you're so involved with their character and the show that they're in. But, we all are the same. We're all just like you. We have multifaceted lives and many different interests. So we all kind of go in different directions and have a lot. We have maybe more to us than you think.
We'd like to ask if people could come to this microphone if they have questions, and one per person, but come up here to this microphone so everyone can hear what the questions are as well. Thank you very much.
Oh, so sorry. I should probably pick somebody from over here. Yes? Oh, you should probably.
Have them come up to the microphone.
Yeah. If you have questions, it might be more efficient. Maybe you could have a start a line, and then it'll go quicker. Might be good. Okay. No, Mike Landon did not play the fiddle. He could do many things, but that was not one of them.
Hi, Melissa.
Hi.
Big fan.
Oh, thank you.
I've probably seen every episode 6 times. Now, I have 3 questions. Number 1, what was your most favorite episode you ever enjoyed with the filming of the Little House series? Secondly,
my favorite episode to shoot was probably I'll Be Waving As You Drive Away, the 2-part episode where my character goes flying.
okay. Secondly, I read somewhere that you really enjoyed the filming of The Collection with John and June Carter Cash.
I did.
Now, what was that episode like being filmed behind the scenes, like off camera with Johnny Cash and his wife?
Having Johnny Cash on our set and June Carter and their son, John Carter, who was like adorable at the time, was so exciting. I think the entire set was just buzzing. They were, big recording stars, and it was so exciting. And, they were good. June did some very good work, I thought, in our show. And we were all, and people seemed to appear out of nowhere, from the
last question. What was Michael Landon like off camera, behind the scenes during the episode?
Mike Landon was a very hard worker. You would never find anybody who worked harder. He was a great guy, very funny, very insecure, but very creative. And I wish he was here. We were talking about that last night, actually. I wish he was here to see what an impact Little House has had on so many generations. It's really something to be, he would be very proud of, I think.
Hello.
Hi.
What was it like playing Millicent in the Brady Bunch?
Millicent, I played Millicent in the Brady Bunch, Bobby Brady's first girlfriend. And it was super exciting because it was my first dramatic role. I had only done commercials before that. So I got this part, and I was so excited, and the only downside was that I had to kiss a boy. And that really did not appeal to me. But I practiced on my Lhasa Apso. And I didn't tell Mike, look at that, though. Anyway, I had a great time. I also remember I was a big fan of the Brady Bunch. I would sit every Friday night at 8 o'clock and cross-legged on the floor in front of the television to watch the Brady Bunch, and so I was so excited, and I got there, and then I found out that they were all so much older than I was. I thought they were all my contemporaries, but they were quite a bit older, and so that was a little bit of a disappointment. And then later on, though, it was fun because Mike Lukenland, who played Bobby, came on our show, and we had a few scenes to do together, so that it was kind of fitting.
Hi. I always wondered how difficult it was for you to play the part after the baby dies in the fire.
It was, and I don't remember a lot of that. I was just talking about this too, where some scenes I can watch. When I wrote the book, I had to go back and watch things I hadn't seen in over 20 years, and a lot of it I could remember like it was yesterday. I could remember what I was thinking at the time. I could remember if we were having chili off camera before we did a scene, whatever it was. But then things like that I don't remember at all, and I think it was because they weren't my favorite. They weren't my favorite shows. All the tragedies, it got to be too much, in my opinion, and it was hard to do because I just didn't. My heart wasn't in it.
Hi.
Hi.
My first question is the character played on the show, is that true to what the real Mary Ingalls' life was like? And then also, we know a lot about Laura Ingalls when, she got older, but we don't know anything about Mary. Was that true, and is there anything written about the real Mary?
Yes, there is a lot. Bill Anderson, who's here this weekend, has written extensively all about it. He knows much more than I do. And the thing about the Little House series of books is that it was written when Laura was in her 70s. So she really, I think, idealized her life in the sense that she remembered all the greatest details about she and Pa and she and Jack the dog, and there wasn't a lot. If you notice, there wasn't that much even with Ma. And Mary, there wasn't much at all. And I think that's just because she was older and that's the way she preferred to view her life. So in order to do a series based on those books, we had to veer away a bit and take some creative license and develop the characters. And thank goodness they developed mine, or I wouldn't be here today, because I would be I would have been in the background the entire time. So in order to actually make a series out of those books, you had to expand it.
I'm Melissa. I was wondering what it was like when Mr. Edwards took care of you for a week, and when you and Laura came home and saw Carrie on the roof. What was that feeling like?
That was a fun episode we did. It was great. Like I said before, it was great working with Victor, and he was the comic relief, and we had a good time. I remember he made us rattlesnake stew or something, and it was chicken, of course. And I wanted to do something mildly amusing, so I thought I would take my bite, and I think that's when he says it's rattlesnake or something, and then I swallow it. And I actually did swallow a huge piece of chicken, and I almost didn't make it through the scene. You can kind of see me kind of gasping for air. But it was very fun. It was something different, and we didn't do a lot of stuff that was really funny, so it was fun.
Hi, Melissa. I have enjoyed the books for years, and remember how Laura had said was always closer to Ma, and she was always closer to Pa, and there's a few references in the series as you were growing up. I was wondering, all those hours working with Karen Grassel, if you ever felt like you had a Mary and Ma relationship in a way.
Well, Karen Grassley is another terrific actress, and a very nice and warm person. And it was very, always a joy to work with her. Again, she's a highly trained actress, we those kinds of things, relationships you have with characters on screen are rarely equal to my relationship with my own mother or my own parents. It's not the same as that. It's acting. But, it was always a joy to work with her.
Was it hard acting blind?
Was it hard acting blind? Yes, it was. It was. And like I said, the hardest thing was reacting to a noise. That was the hardest thing. Because, that's not something that a sighted person does the same way. So that was very difficult. And at times it was incredibly difficult. We'd be I remember shooting at a train station, and they had we're out in the middle of the bright sun, and then they had these huge arc lamps beating down this hot, bright light. And I'm supposed to not be able to see, and I'm crying from the sun in my eyes, I mean, I go out in the rain and I'm wearing sunglasses, my eyes are so light. So there were times like that it was really, really bad. But overall it was a very dramatic and, challenge for me. It's good.
Hi. I was wondering if you had any, best friend relationships with the other actors that portrayed Laura and Carrie and your family.
We all got along. We never fought. We were very different, though. We were all from very different backgrounds. Melissa Gilbert is from a show business family. Allison Arngrim, who played Nellie, is from a very show business family. And then the little twins, Rachel and Robin, they were very well. They're from their father was an actor also. And they were very outdoorsy and horse lovers, and and I was just this sort of shy kid that was the first actor in my family, and I think that sometimes when you're shy and quiet and kind of serious, I think that sometimes people mistake that for being a snob and that really wasn't the case. I just wasn't as outgoing as they were. So, but like I said, we never fought. We always got along. We knew we had a job to do. It's a serious business. It's not fun and games all the time being a child actor. You are being paid to do a job that has to get done. So.
On the show, Mary became engaged to Mr. Edwards' son John at a very young age. So, by today's standards, so how was it to play a love relationship when you were so young?
I write about that in the book, and actually, I should read that to you because that's kind of a funny thing if I can find it. Let's see if I can find that. I can't find it, I don't think. I was very disappointed in my acting, I have to tell you. If I can find it, I was working with my favorite director, Bill Claxton, and Rodimus Farah, who played John Jr. And I just didn't, he was a great actor and a really nice guy, but he wasn't on my list of my favorite guys. And so it was hard. And I was a teenager. I was like 14 or something, and or even 13. I played a little older for a while on Little House, and so I was not proud of, especially one scene in particular that I blew it. I let my personal feelings get in the way, and I have, like I said, a scene in the book about that, and I learned a big lesson.
Hi, what did it feel like when you were in back of the scenes?
Like when you're waiting?
Yeah.
Well, it can be really, really boring. When you're a kid, and it's the school time. Anytime between September and June, we have to go to school. So every time there's at least 20 minutes between when they'll be ready to shoot something, we would go back to school. It had to be at least 20 minutes. And so that gave us something else to do, and sometimes a lot to do. But a lot of times you're just sitting around waiting. You're just sitting around waiting, and when you get really, really bored, it makes you really tired. And so it's not easy. That's the part of the job that any adult will tell you too they don't like. That it's just hurry up and wait, and hurry up and wait. And there's a lot of waiting involved.
Hi, so I wanted to know how old were you when you first started playing the part, Mary?
When I got the role of Mary, I was 11.
Hi, did you like your character being blind on the set?
When I first found out that they were going to make my character go blind, I was terrified because I thought that meant I was going to be written out of the show. I thought if Mary goes blind, there's not going to be anything for her to do, and there won't be anything for me to do, and that'll be it. I'll be done. So I was very upset. And then Mike Landon told me, no, I was completely wrong. Just wait. Trust him. It'll be great. It'll be great. And he was right. It worked out great, and I did have to trust him, and I did. And we got the highest ratings we've ever had. With our show, those episodes. And so it was a win-win for everybody, not just for the network but for me. It was a great. I was nominated for an Emmy. It was a very exciting time.
Hi, I was wondering how hard was it to be me, Denali Olsen?
It wasn't hard. Because she acted so obnoxious. She was so good at that, looking down at us. No, I mean Allison was a nice girl, and I think I hit her a couple of times. I think, and I did worry that I might have hit her too hard, but it wasn't anything personal. But yeah, no, it was all acting.
Who was your favorite person acting with?
Favorite person acting with? Well, yeah, probably Mike Landon. It was always fun to work with him. Victor French and Linwood Boomer would be the other two, who were my favorites.
Hi, did you have fun acting when you were blind?
I did. I had fun acting when I was blind. Once I learned all the technical things and I could just concentrate on my performance, then it was fun.
How did you how did you act so old when you were so small in Little House on the Prairie?
Well, I think my character, Mary, was supposed to be smart. So I had to act smarter than I was, maybe. No, I was actually a good student then. I was younger usually, playing a little bit older. And I don't know, I think because I'm kind of a serious person, and I always wanted to be an actress when I grew up too, that I wanted to do a good job, and when you want to do a good job, you try really hard. So maybe I was convincing, you know?
Hi, did you enjoy acting as Mary?
I did. I enjoyed it very much. When you're an actress, one of the greatest things that can happen to you is you get a steady job, because actors, notoriously are out of work. Most actors, you can be a fantastic actor and no one will know it because you don't get a chance to show anybody because no one will hire you. And there's just a sea of actors out there that never work. So to be able to have a job to go to every year after year was amazing, and it's a huge accomplishment, and it's a lot of luck.
What was it like filming the episode when you borrowed the book from Miss Beetle and then it caught fire in the barn?
That was one of the first episodes I had. It was like my second or third episode that was really my show. So it was really exciting for me, and I worked really hard. And it was really funny because my son, when he was about 9 or 10, he saw that episode, and he said, and I was sitting there watching it with him, and he said, "Oh no, oh, what did she do? Oh, look, oh no, what did she do? Oh, she shouldn't do that. And, oh, look what she did." And I'm sitting right there, So obviously it made an impact, but it was really exciting. That was one of the most exciting episodes for me to shoot.
What was your favorite part of playing Mary?
Favorite part of playing Mary? I think my favorite part was learning that I was going to have a chance to be a bigger character, to have more to do, and let Mary shine instead of always being in the background. That was probably my favorite thing.
Hi, which season did you enjoy filming the most?
Which season? The first season was very exciting. Very fun. And then I think after that, they just got better and better for me because like I said, I had more to do, and I felt like people had faith in me, that they thought I could do a good job, and so it really just got better and better.
How's Laura?
How's Laura? Well, she's fine. She's fine. She just got remarried. No, but she's fine. I just saw her not too long ago.
Hi. On screen there were a lot of boys that liked Mary and had to kiss you. How did that feel?
It depended on the guy. Again, overall it was fine. It was fine. And when once I went through my bad professional or non-professional experience, and learned my lesson, I did a better job, and it was fine. And it's true, when everybody says, oh, those scenes are so technical, and it is very true, because you have to, you go to kiss somebody, you might put your heads the same way. That's not going to work. It all has to be very technically done. If they want to see pretty Mary's face, supposedly, then I have to go this way, and the guy has to go that way, and, I don't know. It's a lot more planning than you think.
In some of the seasons, when you had to cry, was it really hard to make yourself cry?
Well, my rule as an actress is that if it doesn't make me cry when I read it, then I really have trouble doing it that way. I think that I'm like all of you. I think that if you read something and it moves you, then that's a real emotion. But if you read something and it doesn't feel right, it feels false and it doesn't feel right, then I used to try to fight that, because I know that my character was known for crying, but I did try to avoid it at times when it wasn't really called for, that I didn't really feel it, because there's a limit to acting. It needs to be as real as possible, as believable, and if you're acting that much, it's not really believable,
Was Mrs. Olsen really grumpy off set?
No, her name is Catherine McGregor, and again, she's an actress who's been around for many, many years, and very well trained, and can do anything. And no, she wasn't grumpy. She was kind of funny, but I would not call her grumpy. No.
When acting, were you in the kitchen more or outside more?
I don't know. That's a good question. In the kitchen. I don't think I spent a lot of time in the kitchen. We did have a lot of those, if you're talking about those like dinner scenes, we did a lot of those around the table, yeah, and some breakfast scenes. Yeah, you're right. We may have done more of those even than outside. That's possible. We used to shoot, some people don't know this, we used to shoot approximately 3 days in a studio in Los Angeles, and then 4 days out in Simi Valley, which is sort of north-ish, outside of Los Angeles, and to do all the exterior scenes. Sometimes we'd have a show which would have more on the inside and less on the outside, but usually it was like that. And so most of the time there were probably a few more scenes inside. But then we had shows, whenever you saw those shows about a baseball game or a circus, or they were the worst, because we were outside for days on end, and it was filthy, and the wind was blowing, and it was hot, and we had like a whole bunch of extras, extra people in all the scenes to fill up the scenes, and everything had to be shot from 100,000 different angles, and it took forever. And those times were very tedious, but especially the indoor ones were certainly easier and more fun to shoot.
If there's one thing you could change, like something that Mary did or something, what would it be?
I think the stuff later on, the things about the baby dying in the fire and that kind of stuff, I would have rather not have done.
So who's the hardest person to work with on set?
Be honest.
To be perfectly honest, well, there was a time that Karen was a little difficult, but she wasn't very difficult us. She was more difficult with the directors. So that, didn't have that much effect on us. And then, everybody has their ups and downs, so that's not really, a big deal at all. But really, the hardest person to work with at times was Mike Landon as a director, because he was very controlling as a director. Very good, and he certainly had his vision, but he didn't give actors room to act. We kind of felt like, we were being placed where we had to go, and everything was so pre-thought out that we didn't have any input. So that was kind of hard.
How did you get into the show?
Well, for Little House, I had to audition. First I had an interview, a meeting with all of the big shots, all of guys in suits at NBC. And I sat in a big office with all these guys and in suits and ties, and they asked me some questions. And I didn't even know I was interviewing for Little House on the Prairie. I only knew that it was a period western. So I had no idea what that was. So one of them told me it was for Little House on the Prairie, and I almost jumped out of my seat because I had read the books, like all you guys, and I thought that was so exciting. So I did that, and they had like they had like at least 200 girls for each role. So then they kind of narrowed it down from there, and then we went and read for Mike Landon, which you just experienced a bit of, and then after that we did a screen test, which is when you learn your dialogue and you don't hold the pages anymore. You have to know it, just like you see it on television, and they film it. And they try to film you with different, maybe me with 5 different Lauras, a few different Lauras with me, and see who pairs up, makes the best, sister team, and things like that. And then they make their decision. So that was it.
Hi. When you got the news that you were going to be on Little House on the Prairie, how excited were you?
I was really excited because I don't know how long, I still don't remember how long the process was from beginning to end. It was probably about 2 weeks, but it felt like a month. And it may have even been slightly less than 2 weeks. But I got a call one night. I was eating dinner, and I got a call, and it was my agent on the phone. And I think my mother answered the phone and handed me the phone, and she said, "What are you doing right now?" I wrote this in the book, I think. And I said, "I'm eating dinner, Mary." And she said, "What are you eating?" And I told her whatever it was I was eating. And she said, And she said, "Because, you got this role of Mary in Little House on the Prairie." And I was like, "Yay, yes, Mom!" And then she said, "But there's just one thing. You have to lose 5 pounds." And I, of course, said, 5 pounds? I can do 5 pounds. No problem. 5 pounds? Fine. I'll do 5 pounds. I'll lose 5 pounds. And I couldn't understand why in the world they wanted me to lose 5 pounds, but that was okay. And so it turns out my parents were upset. My doctor was upset. I said, "Take me to the doctor. I'll do it the right way. I have to lose 5 pounds." Because they said my face was too well-fed looking for a pioneer. So the round face that I always had that has helped me as I've gotten older. Now I don't usually look as old as I am because of having had that round face. But anyway, they thought I didn't look hungry enough, I guess. But it was funny because I did lose the 5 pounds. And then many years later, I was standing around drinking my tab or Diet Coke or something, and Mike Landon came over and we started talking, and for some reason that came up, and I said, why did you think I needed to lose? I mean, what was the deal behind the 5 pounds thing? And he said, "What?" And I said, and he knew nothing about it. So in the beginning, there were 2 executive producers. It was Mike Landon and Ed Friendly. And then they parted ways because they disagreed on how the show should go. Ed Friendly wanted to follow the books exactly, and Mike Landon said, "No, we can't have a series unless we branch out a little." So they So I think what had happened was Ed Friendly was the one who said I was too well-fed looking for a pioneer. And you know what happened to him, so.
Were you really on a moving caboose when you played in the Runaway Caboose?
We were on all those trains, and yeah, and that was another thing. It wasn't boring, but it was really, really long. We were on those trains forever, you know, and all different shots, all different angles, and it was Brian Part, I think, played the other, yes, Carl, and yeah, and we were all sunburned and hot again and tired of being on the train, but yeah, we shot that up in Sonora, which is north on the way, you know, northeast on the way to San Francisco in California.
Is there a TV show you watch to make you want to be an actress?
I don't know. I don't remember. No. I think what happened was I was a dancer, and my dancing teacher thought I had great potential as a dancer, but he thought I was too much like him, meaning that I was too serious. I didn't have enough fun-loving personality. You know, I had to be bigger and more gregarious to make it as a dancer. And so he thought I should get acting experience. And they went on for about a year. I was overhearing him saying these kinds of things to my mother. And finally, I think it dawned on me what he meant. And I thought that sounded like something I would like to do. So my parents were really not into it at all. But they thought that the production that you have to go through to be able to get to the point of ever being on a TV show or anything is so complicated and so long. It's such a long process that I would probably, you know, give up. So I had to get an agent, and that's not easy, and I had to, you know, go out on auditions after school when I might want to be playing basketball, and why would I want to do that? And so all these things. So I did get an agent. It wasn't as hard as it should have been, and I did get work. So they were kind of stuck. They didn't want to say no after that because I was enjoying it.
How did it feel like when Ma yelled at you?
Yeah, I think you might be referring to the scene in that episode about the book and the barn burning down and all that. Yeah, I thought she was so good in that scene, and she did scare me a bit. She was really, really mad, right? Yeah.
What is your relationship with Melissa Gilbert and the rest of the cast today?
We're all friendly. We're not all close friends. Like I said, we're so different, and this happens on many shows. People come from such different backgrounds that they just may never really have that much in common. But we're all professionals, and and we certainly care about each other. We spend a lot of time together.
Was it hard in the episode of Johnny Johnson to be nasty about him?
Oh, yeah. It was a little bit because I liked the actor, Mitch Vogel. He was a very nice guy. And yeah, I didn't like, I was the one saying I didn't care about him, but he liked me or something. That was that, right? Yeah. It was a little hard because he was a very nice guy. Yeah.
How did it feel when Ma and Pa tucked you in at night in the movie?
Well, those scenes, those bedroom scenes, and we always wore those stupid little nightcaps, right? Only second to the blinder bonnets. They were always shot, I can tell you, almost always shot first thing in the morning. So, you get up, you get ready to go to work, you get all dressed, you're all nice and clean, you go to work, and you get back in your pajamas again. You know, and you spend the whole morning in bed, you know, and it's kind of, I don't know, it kind of saps your energy. It's hard to get moving again after that when you just, you know, get up and then have to go back to bed. But some of those scenes were fun and light, and that was fun.
We're down to 2 last questionnaires.
Okay.
Would you rather play a different character?
Well, on Little House, you know, like I said, I was very happy. I was happy to be working. But there does come a time where you want to, especially if you want a career as an actress, which I did, that you need to branch out and do other things. So what I did was on our hiatus, our time off every year, I did something else. I did a movie of the week, or I did 2 movies of the week, or I did a play, or one year I did a movie for Mike Landon where I played his girlfriend when he was a kid. And I tried to do as many different roles as I could so that I wouldn't be always pigeonholed as this pioneer girl from Little House on the Prairie. So I think I did the right thing. It really helped me. And then when I left the series, I did a lot of other things. I did now it's like this big cult horror classic, Happy Birthday to Me is big in these conventions and stuff. And I did some fun stage work, and I did The Equalizer, the series of playing Edward Woodward's daughter, which, by the way, you all need to know this. My husband created, and I actually did this when I didn't know my husband, but he actually created the show The Equalizer. And there's going to be a feature film starring Denzel Washington coming out on my birthday, September 26th, and it's really, really good. The trailer for the movie is fantastic, and so it's The Equalizer, and it's part of my family. So please go see it.
How come you didn't play through the end of the series? You left in like season 8.
I did. I had a 7-year contract, and I did 2 shows the 8th season because my character, they were putting me in scenes just for audience recognition, just so the audience would know that I was still alive. So I was in scenes like at a circus, and Mike Landon was explaining to us what was happening. I mean, it was just, there was no reason to be there, you know. And it just dramatically, for me, I just couldn't do it anymore. And again, one tragedy after the next. So I just didn't have it in me to stay. I wanted to move on.
Do you have a memory for just one more?
Yes.
Hi. It's a privilege to have Steve come here, and I really enjoy watching you over the years on the show. Now that your beautiful children is growing up, what are your future plans?
I know, I'm an empty nester. Yeah. I'm almost an empty nester. My son is going to college, but he's going to commute from home for at least for a while. I won't see much of him, but I'll see a little of him. But yeah, I don't know. I have a lot of volunteering I'm interested in doing. My daughter informs me that Jennifer Lawrence is 1 month younger than she is, and so that I could actually be Jennifer Lawrence's mother, which I would actually kill to be, but I know nothing like Jennifer Lawrence. No, I'm just kidding. But no, if anyone ever wanted to hire me as an actress again, if I fit in somewhere, that would be great, that would be fine. But like I said, I have a lot of other interests, and I've spent a long time raising my kids, so it's about time to kind of think about what I would really like to do now, you know. So thank you very much. Thank you. See you later.
Careful.